My pleasure to welcome to the show Vanna Jacobs from Family Life. Vanna, kia ora. Thank you for joining us.
Kia ora. Good morning, Andrew.
Last time we were talking about, important things that we can do as couples to bring joy to our marriage. In fact, 4 principles for a joy-filled marriage. Now, we're going to break this down week by week. We start off with the first on the list. Couples that stay together, play together. Vaynard,
there you go. You took the words out of my mouth, right? You know, in Christian circles, it's often couples that pray together, stay together.
Yeah.
But this idea of playing together also holds true. In fact, a lot of the work that we'll be talking about over these next few sessions is referencing a book by Dr. Marcus Warner and Chris Corsi, and I've got it next to me here. It's called The 4 Habits of Joy-Filled Marriages.
Mm-hmm.
I also have an interview with him dropping next week on our channels. But they developed a 4-part model or, idea, framework just for increasing joy in your marriage. And the 4 parts spell the word plan. So PLAN. And today we're talking about playing together.
When it comes to play, this isn't just in the bedroom, although that's probably a subject for another day. But finding something recreationally that you can do, something that you both enjoy, rather than going, oh, well, Monday night's bowling night, Tuesday she does this thing, we'll see each other in the weekend. What is it that you can do together that you both enjoy? That may take some thinking about for some people.
That is right. And look, we don't have to dive deep into this aspect of playing together, but it certainly holds true for a big part for married couples in the bedroom.
Yeah.
It can be easy for the bedroom to become the boardroom when we are so consumed with our problems and challenges and schedules, and we actually forget to have fun together.
Mm-hmm.
We also live in a culture where a lot of what we learn before we get married about sex is performance-based.
Yeah.
Whereas connecting, in his book, he actually talks about, he calls it relational sex.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's supposed to be any other form of sex, but
yeah, unfortunately
but the
there
fact
is.
Our culture has really warped this for us. And so recognizing that this way of being together is actually can be playful.
Yeah.
And not in the promiscuous sense, but actually in the fact that we are enjoying being together. And that is really important.
So, So I was just going to say, so play together does include sexual intimacy. That is an important part of marriage. I mean, you ask any couple, it's going to be on the list. Maybe they'll have different ideas of where that is in terms of the ranking of the most important aspects. But playing together isn't just restricted to sexual intimacy.
It is not. But the reason I think it's worth mentioning is the fact that, if you think about sex as a couple in the context of play, it's not supposed to be a heavy, serious thing.
Yeah.
It's to be enjoyed together, along with other things in life. So our social routines are so important. What are we doing together to build joy in our lives? It's easy to be so consumed by all the things we do, responsibilities as adults. If we've got kids, maybe their routines and all these things, that we forget to actually schedule play time together.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as saying, hey, let's go walk the dog together every day. Let's get a dog so that we can walk the dog. And maybe that's the time that we specifically just we don't talk about our problems. We actually find activities that make it fun for us to be together. So, I mean, my son actually turned 6 today, so that's great. We're celebrating his birthday, so there's joy in our house about that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's really getting into board games. And the other day, we're learning checkers, right? And he's really getting the hang of playing checkers on board game. And El Ray and I started playing checkers, and this has become just a new little thing that we enjoy doing together. It's heaps of fun. And sure, sometimes we get a little bit competitive. If we get too competitive, we know that the fun part of this activity has left the building. So let's maybe shift tact. But we are definitely trying to build in more things into our life, into our marriage, that is just there for the purpose of fun. I think I'm not coming at these discussions as having it all figured out. And I have said this many times, my biggest relationship stuff-ups calls for my best radio content. And that's why I'm so excited about this resource of Joyful Marriages, because it's these little tweaks we can make that actually bring us more closeness and a more richer relationship. And, what are the simple things that just prioritize joy? We don't always have to talk about the serious stuff. Sure, we have to talk about them too, but do we actually have time in our calendar together just for fun?
I just wanted to pick up on this wonderful idea, and happy birthday to your son, by the way. I mean, it's fantastic to celebrate as a family, but so often the case that we can learn lessons from young children, and Jesus was big on this as well. Don't push the children out of the way. Actually, they're more onto it spiritually than we are, perhaps. And watching how children play and saying, you know what? Maybe for some people, we've put our childish ways behind us too much. We need to learn lessons from smaller children, prioritize play. And I also like the idea of saying, look, if you're going to say, oh, it has to be spontaneous, then it may not happen. Prioritize that. Put it in the calendar. Make an appointment to play, right?
That's right. And interesting you point that out. I remember years and years ago, I listened to a TED talk, and the topic that this guy had was around play and the research around, even as adults, how important it is to play.
Yeah.
And I remember he actually showed a picture, like it was a painting of mid-century society, and like around midday, they would all go into the town square and play and just be silly, like do silly, playful things. And there's research that actually talk about how play makes us more resilient.
Yep.
And in the animal kingdom, they've studied just the playful nature of like lion cubs and how important that part is to their ability to then later hunt and survive. So yes, it's an easy way. It's a fun way. Here's a quick tip, maybe that's from the book that I'll share with you. And the bedroom is really very important for a married couple. Like it's extremely important. Like having relational sex is extremely important, but also it's the ending of our day. It's how we end the day. So I almost want to say, and not to be legalistic about this, but if you've got a TV in your bedroom, just chuck the thing out. Like it's not helping you relationally.
Exactly.
No matter where you're at, even if you enjoy watching TV together. But one of the things he says is go to bed glad to be with each other.
Yeah.
And that's the definition of joy. It's glad to be with you. But then practically, how can we help that? And here's two rules that help us foster that feeling of glad to be together.
Yep.
The first one is we will stop talking about problems and tasks 30 minutes before we go to bed.
Wow.
Not that we won't talk about problems and tasks, but let's just get into a habit of saying, hey, this is important. We will need to solve this problem. And I'm going to be here tomorrow for us to do that. And it's not shoving problems into the closet. It's just saying 30 minutes before we go to bed, let's focus on building joy together. And that means we're focused on each other more so than the problems. The second rule is we will play together and share appreciation before we turn off the lights. Could be lighthearted. It doesn't always have to be sex per se.
Yeah.
But in the sense of getting into a habit of playing together and appreciating one another, you're just going to see your relationship transform within a matter of, days or even weeks of applying these habits.
Such good practical stuff. Quick game of checkers before bed. Anyone?
There you go.
Vaynard, thank you so much for the wisdom that you bring. Certainly looking forward to seeing more of this online at familylife.nz. In terms of that interview, that's going to be landing in the next few days?
Next week, actually.
Next week. Certainly look out for that and look forward to chatting with you more on this topic. As I say, familylife.nz for more information. Thank you so much for joining us.
Kia ora, Andrew.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.